Hello, lovelies. It's Cory with Wilder Woman, and I just wanted to share with you guys my pendulum collection. Now, each and every one of these pendulums is something that I crafted myself. None of these pendulums are store-bought with the exception of some of the actual weights. There are a few pendulums that I've purchased over the years that I've cut the tail off and I've remade the tail so that it becomes an entirely new pendulum altogether. Now, I have been crafting pendulums since early 2012. I made my first pendulum in January of that year, and this is that pendulum. This is a hematite teardrop pendulum. He was store-bought, and I purchased him at the Philosopher's Stone down here in Ocean Beach in San Diego. Wendy is phenomenal, by the way. And this little teardrop pendulum is dedicated specifically for connecting with my animal totem, my power animal, Viper. And he's saying, yes, that's what I'm for. And I made this pendulum to Viper's specifications. So it took me a while to find this specific pendulum. And then I purchased this chain, gunmetal chain, at the Black Bead, also down in Ocean Beach. And then I wire wrapped a little Swarovski crystal right here at the very end. This is an Aeronite Swarovski crystal, and added a little rattlesnake charm, also from the Black Bead in Ocean Beach. Now this chain is a lot longer than I would normally add a chain onto a pendulum, but that's just because what I do is I wrap the chain around my finger a few times and then work with him. And he stays in this leather pouch that I have had for, oh dear, probably about 16 years, almost as long as I have been practicing Wicca and witchcraft. That's how old this thing is. It's pretty old. So this was my very first pendulum. Now, you can make something as simple as this, or it can be even simpler. You can tie a cord or a piece of string around a coin or a button to make a pendulum. Or, in a pinch, I've even used my necklace as a pendulum. And those are all perfectly acceptable pendulums. Now, as far as having something specifically made to be used as a pendulum, from there, your energy will imprint on the tool, which is amazing, and that's what you want. You want a pendulum that you can use over and over and over again. Now, this next one is also one that I purchased. My husband found this pendulum for me at a gem show, actually, and thought I should definitely pick it up, and I did. And what a gorgeous one it is. This is a multi-gemstone pendulum with a different stone for each of the 7 chakras. So this is primarily used for crystal healings. I've used this for energy healings. I've used this to assess and balance my chakras, my children's chakras. And the beads that you see here are lapis lazuli. And I've just used clear Swarovski crystals. I have a little wooden bead at the end as a focal bead. And again, rattlesnake charm. And that's because Viper is here with me as my power animal in this lifetime to focus on my healing abilities. Another pendulum that I converted is this little lepidolite one right here. Now he does have a chipped point, and I kind of feel like that adds to his charm. I really love this guy. And as you can see, the wire is actually copper craft wire. You don't need very expensive materials to make a pendulum. For most of my pendulums, I do use argentum silver, which I feel is a little bit more tarnish resistant than sterling silver, but silver is silver, right? So it does need a lot of care and cleaning, but it is a lot sturdier than craft wire. So keep that in mind when you are choosing materials to craft your own pendulum. And I just have purple Swarovski pearls in these gorgeous copper colored Swarovski crystals. Now this lovely bead here was also picked up from the black bead in Ocean Beach, and this is, if I can do it, a mood bead. So as you can see with heat, it changes color. And then I added a little tribal copper hand charm to the end of the tail. So this one would be really good for dream magic and also for any activities or work related to relaxation, meditation, etc. along those lines. Here is another one that has been converted, if you will, and this is a rainbow moonstone pendulum. Just gorgeous. And here I have darker pearls, and again, clear Swarovski crystals. I used little beads here. I've got a hematite star inside of a circle, and then a little goddess charm at the end, just a little pewter one. So this one I use during SBATs and for other work. So you can bet this guy is getting busted out during every new moon, full moon, the new moon with the solar eclipse. Good juju. He says yes. Let's see, I do have one more. I believe just one more. I'm gonna look, I have a lot of pendulums, you guys. This will be a long video. I believe I only have one more that is a conversion. And this pendulum I have dedicated to the Archangel Gabriel, who helps me with my writing and pretty much every creative venture that I have. And for his pendulum, I have banded agate. And these are colored freshwater pearls. And I just have very light topaz Swarovski crystals. I also have this gorgeous Austrian glass bead here. And I added a little cherub charm to the end of the tail. And so this one is specifically dedicated to working with Gabriel. I only use this pendulum to communicate with him. Now, the rest of these I have wire wrapped myself. So this one, I want to show you because, well, this is proof of how sturdy these pendulums are that I make. This one went through the washer and the dryer. And still came out relatively intact. This is and this is like not something you want to go through the washer or dryer either, but thank God it was a sturdier crystal. This is a Super 7 crystal. And again, we have silver Swarovski pearls, and you can tell, like, the color is peeling off the crystals because of how much pressure this thing was under when it went through. Look, this is another one of those heat mood beads, and it's permanently warped. And then this guy also got banged up. I had a sugar skull. I have a sugar skull charm at the end of it. And that's mostly because this pendulum I use for past life work and for connecting with my ancestors and speaking to them. And it's something that I use often during Samhain. And he's mighty beat up. So what I may end up doing is cutting him apart and rewrapping the crystal. And I love the design. I want to keep it, but yeah, he got beat up quite a bit. Still works, but he literally went through the ringer. This guy right here is just a general all-purpose pendulum, and one of the first ones I ever made. So he is well over 5 years old, and this is a tangerine quartz point, a natural point that I wire wrapped, and I have copper colored freshwater pearls, and then purple Swarovski crystals, and then this gorgeous glass goddess bead. I can actually show her well enough. Oh, this camera's not doing her any justice. She has gorgeous multicolored flecks in there, and then I just wire wrapped some crystals on the top here. And I use her pretty much for any purpose that you would use a pendulum for. I've used her in ritual. I've used her for readings. She especially responds well to goddess energy work, obviously. A little goddess bead at the top, but I don't only use her for that. Now this next one is dedicated to only being used to connect with spirit animals, and that is this full aquamarine pendulum right here. So this is a piece of tumbled aquamarine that I've wire wrapped, and each of these beads is also aquamarine. And we have clear Swarovski crystals. I just have a lovely blue bead at the top and a little seahorse charm at the end of the tail. And so this love definitely picks up on ocean spirit animals a little stronger than the others, but it will pick up the energy of birds, with land mammals, with all other spirit animals as well. And you don't need this many pendulums. I am just that crazy. And I can't stop making them. So this next one is dedicated to working with angels and archangels. And this is a tumbled piece of Larimar, also known as the dolphin stone. Now my camera is making this a lot more blue than it normally is. In real life, it's a lot more muted in color, but the light from my camera is kind of warping it a little bit right here. And then I've got 2 different colors of light blue Swarovski crystals and white Swarovski pearls. This is just a lovely little heart wooden bead. And of course, with the dolphin stone, I had to have a dolphin charm at the end. Might have made more sense to have an angel charm, but I went with the dolphin. For some reason, dolphin medicine and dolphin energy to me feels very similar to angel energy. Don't know why that is, but they feel very similar when I work with them. This one right here, I made specifically for use in ritual, and it's a bit lighter of a stone than I would like. Normally when I create pendulums, I like to use a heftier weight, just so that it's got a broader swing, because when it's lighter, the swing isn't as obvious. So sometimes you're like, are you telling me no? Or are you trying to spin? What are you doing? So this guy right here is a piece of charoite, which is a very magical stone in general. And here I've got silver Swarovski crystals and lilac and blue zircon Swarovski crystals. Now this bead, was stitched together. I purchased it at a bead show in San Diego. I forget the name of the show, but I haven't been able to find a bead like this again. And I added a little pentacle charm to the end of the tail, because obviously ritual magic, gotta have the pentacle, right? And so this next one that I have is only about a year old, so it's one of my newer ones. And this is lithium quartz. This one is also fantastic for meditation, dream work, shamanic work, magic, energy in general. Just loves this crystal. And it's kind of an all-purpose one, if I'm being completely honest. This is just fabulous for healing in general, I found. And I've got purple Swarovski crystals. I have clear Swarovski crystals in there. And then I've got another glass bead. It's kind of hard to do that justice as well. It's got a whole bunch of different swirls in here, purple. It's very, very reminiscent of the feel of the lithium quartz. And then on this one as well, I also added a little pentacle charm. Just because. Just because. This one is also one of my older ones and dedicated to my spirit guide, Whitney, who works with me on healing. She originally started off as a spirit guide who was helping me with Reiki and drew me to Reiki to get my Reiki attunements. And now we just kind of collectively work on energy healing together. And this is a cut rainbow fluorite point. And this one was also picked up at the Philosopher's Stone in Ocean Beach. And we've got dark gunmetal Swarovski crystals, or pearls, and then purple, blue, and green Swarovski crystals. And then a lovely glass bead at the top, and a little goddess charm. at the end. Love the energy of that one. It's one of my favorites for sure. So another one of my favorites, and I am pissed as all hell still that it chipped, and this chipped years ago. But still, damn it. This is a Lemurian crystal. And it broke, damn it. And this has white Swarovski crystals, or pearls, excuse me. What is wrong with me today? White Swarovski pearls, blue Swarovski crystals, and these light Colorado topaz Swarovski round donut-shaped crystals. So this tail is probably one of the favorite tails I've ever made. And then I have this very yummy opalescent shell bead. Not sure, it's not picking up the shape quite that well, but it is a shell shape. And then I have little rainbow crystals at the end. And so that's my Lemurian. And what I've done with the tail is I've added a little lobster claw at the end so that I can unhook the tail. If I can do this with nails. What? Bear with me for a moment while I try and actually use my stuff. Okay, unhook the tail, and I can wear the crystal as a pendant if I want to. And you can do that with any and every single one of your pendulums. And if you were to ever order a pendulum from me, you can absolutely ask to have a lobster claw added to the end of the tail. Now, I have another man-made drill point, and this one is a yummy rainbow aura quartz. Now, you're not seeing the rainbow flash as much as I am on my end. There it goes. And the different aura quartz are just created by taking a quartz crystal and putting it in a pressure chamber along with a different mineral, like titanium, gold, silver. I forget all of the different minerals that they use, but the mineral will then bond to the crystal, giving it this opalescent aura shape, aura color. Sorry. So you need to be careful with these because it can get scratched off. And then I have white Swarovski pearls. And then I put Swarovski crystals in the order of the chakras, from root to crown. So as you can guess, I also use this in crystal healings and to assess and balance chakras and just remove energy blockages in general. I've added a little Celtic knot bead here. This is also Austrian glass focal bead, and then just little white opalescent, kind of their own rainbow aura, if you will, Swarovski crystals. Now I do have some pendulums that are kind of unconventional, and this one here is one of them. This pendulum is dedicated to my alchemy spirit guide, Charlie. And this is, believe it or not, a piece of carnelian. And it reminded me of lava hitting waves for some reason. And I just loved it. And Charlie kind of has a surfer dude energy about him anyway. So these are natural lava beads. And I took apart a puka shell necklace and put them in between the lava beads, kind of to create its own little long bead, if you will, and then added blue and green Swarovski crystals in between. And then I found this glass bead that's very reminiscent to me of like waves. And then, of course, a little sand dollar charm. And so that is Charlie's pendulum. And this one also has a lobster claw so that I could wear the carnelian. And carnelian is just one of those stones that I'm obsessed with, mostly because I have a ton of fire in my chart. And I really, really love the feel of carnelian. Carnelian is one of those crystals. I have a crap ton of it in my house. Now, the next couple are dedicated specifically to working with deities. So this first one here is dedicated to Odin. Now, he is not my patron god, but I worked with Odin directly when I was learning the Elder Furic runes. And in working with him, in channeling messages with him, I was having a hard time absorbing the messages of the runes. And it wasn't until I made a pendulum to connect with Odin and made this pendulum to his specifications, just like I did with Vipers, and made a spirit board that has the Elder Furic alphabet on it, that I really started being able to download the messages and get them and absorb them. Because pendulums is just, that's how I connect. That's how I channel, man. And this one is a piece of meteorite. And it's got a flat back, so it's perfect to wear, which is why I have the lobster claw. And then we have dark gunmetal Swarovski pearls, blue and red Swarovski crystals. And he also has a hematite circle, but with a little ball inside of it. And then I found this really awesome little just tribal charm that was just so fitting. And again, found this at the Black Bead and wire wrapped it on, and it's just like, it was just perfect. And so that is his pendulum. Now this one is dedicated to my matron goddess Persephone. And this is a large wire-wrapped garnet. Raw, slightly polished, coming up black here in the video, but it is garnet. Now I have added a lava diffuser bead right here, which I add 1 to 2 drops of essential oil to diffuse when I'm working with this pendulum. And then these look like black beads. Yes, we've got black beads, white Swarovski quartz, and then a little garnet bead. There it is. It's catching the light there. And then black garnet again. And I've alternated them all the way through. Garnet, black, garnet, and then 2 black. And then again, I have another mood bead. And then a little bat charm, since bats are also associated with Persephone, at least in her underworld goddess capacity. Now, I have also made matching jewelry, a large necklace and earrings that go with this as a complete set, but that is something that I will maybe share another day. And then last but not least, because my scarab pendulum, which you guys may or may not have seen, check out my Instagram feed for pictures of him, but he's kind of wandered off. I'm sure he's either in a purse pocket that I couldn't empty or in a pants pocket somewhere. But check out my Instagram feed for photos of him if you haven't seen him already. But here is the last one, and this one was done with craft wire because honestly it's a really large pendulum, so wire wrapping this puppy took a while, but this is a shell pendulum used for water magic and beauty magic, and just infused, not dedicated to, but really infused with the love and energy of Aphrodite and Venus. And so we've got freshwater pearls right here, blue Swarovski crystals, a white one in the center. We've got another shell bead right here as the focal bead, and then even a little, kind of hard to see, but a shell charm. So that is this lovely one right here. It's so large it almost doesn't fit in its bag. And there you have it, beautifuls. Those are all of my personal pendulums, minus my scarab bead pendulum, who seems to have wandered off because he didn't want to be a part of this video. But that's the rest of the collection. I hope it's given you some ideas for your own pendulums and what you would like to do. Hopefully it's inspired you. You can also order a pendulum from me, and I will link that down in the box below. Or you can shoot me a message through any of my social media channels. I hope you enjoyed a look at my collection, and I will catch you in the next video. Blessed be.